I found it. I got it.
All right, good.
Another way.
All right, good. All right, I'm going to make my video now.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. It's lesson 98. I will accept my part in God's plan for salvation. Well, what the heck does that mean? Well, today is a day of special dedication. So this is the day that we line up with truth, whatever that resonates with you inside, and let illusions go. So we cannot have this split mind anymore. We can't keep going back and forth, vacillating between the two. We have to take a firm position with one. That's what lesson 98 is all about, accepting your part in the plan. So what does that mean? What is your part? Well, according to lesson 98, it's basically happiness, which is good news, certainty, laying your doubts aside, and reaching towards this goal of basically having no guilt, no fear, and yeah, being glad. So a couple times in this lesson, it's saying, is the 5 minutes, an hour not worth it to you? Like, is salvation not worth it to you? Is happiness not worth it to you? And you got to kind of love how A Course in Miracles is a little sarcastic at times. Like, could you not choose this for yourself? Is it not worth it? So anyways, let's talk and see what Jesus had to say. See if he was sarcastic too. And yeah, see if we can accept our part in God's plan for salvation. For lesson 98, Tina Jesus really had a funny kind of thing. He said, you don't even need to know your part. Like, your part is really important, but guess what? You don't even need to know what your part is. Just be willing. Just be willing to open your mind and your heart, and even consider for a moment that as you do these lessons on the daily, friggin' every hour for 5 minutes, like anybody actually did that though, just consider that Jesus said that I am there with you. So we can do that. We can consider you, Jesus. He also said that we've been taught a valueless system. Just look around you, you can see the results of that. And a lot of times we miss the moment if we're lost in resentment or in the past or what have you. It causes arguments, causes diseases, causes miscreations. So bottom line, Jesus today said, why don't you happily trust in life? Live your life out like nature does. Yeah, nature's living in the world of separation too, but it doesn't get all crazy about it. It doesn't try to hold on to it or control anything. It comes and it goes, and it honors its cycle of life, and it, you know, it is what it is. So Jesus basically was saying, trust the eternal. Happily trust in your life. And for the fuck's sake, just live your life out. So the really cool thing about this lesson, now that I'm remembering what the lesson was later on here in the day, is that it was talking about sort of like it kept saying they, that basically we're not going to be alone. So when you do these lessons, they will be with you. So it's sort of, Course in Miracles sort of goes into that, connecting our minds, connecting our, shared purpose, and basically we're all one. So all the hippy dippy stuff comes together with this lesson 98 as well. So it says, the guiltless have no fear, for they are safe and recognize their safety. They do not appeal to magic, nor invent escapes from fancied threats without reality. They basically just rest in quiet certainty. And they do not doubt their own ability, and because they just know that they're lined up with the divine plan, pretty much. But anyways, it was just kind of cool that like it really starts to, if you're into that idea that we are all one, if you're getting into that every mind is connected and shared. And so that's why whenever people pray together, it is effective. Whenever people come together for any type of joint collaboration, we're amplifying the energy. And now it just kind of covers that in lesson 98 too, that they took the stand, which we will take today, that we may share their certainty and thus increase it by accepting it ourselves. So people have gone before us, done A Course in Miracles. We basically are just putting all our energy into a collective pot. So we grow the miracle-mindedness. All right, Pathways of Light. Pathwaysoflight.org. Welcome to the reading, A Course in Miracles Workbook Lesson 98, Insights. I will accept my part in God's plan for salvation. The sentence that stands out to me the most in this lesson is, we side with truth and let illusions go. As I am willing to side with truth, all the silly ego squabbles found in this world of separate identities are seen as just plain silly. I am not as tempted to take them so seriously. As I am willing to side with truth, I am open to seeing the light that lies beyond the separate images, beyond time and space. When I side with truth, I am siding with eternal reality and letting illusions go. The illusions of bodies seem so important in this world, the struggle for survival, the desire to be entertained. But here Jesus shows me that God's way works. God's way brings me everything I really want. God's plan brings me happiness and peace and certainty. The ego's plan always goes for seek and do not find. The ego always looks for conflict and strife. The ego grows strong in strife. When I am following the ego's plan, I can tell by the level of anxiety I feel. When I follow God's plan, I can tell by the level of peace and inner joy I feel. The first 5 minutes of every hour seems like a lot of time to take out from my busy day. But when I realize that this time is a time dedicated to accepting the truth and opening to God's peace and love, I see that it is really very little time to give to this most important practice. I feel like I am being given such a powerful gift, a way home that is truly beautiful and simple and perfect for me. I give my time to God. I give time to opening to God's peace. How could time be more well spent? The ego likes to make it appear that accepting my part in God's plan for salvation is a burden and a sacrifice. It does not want me to recognize that it is really accepting God's gift of joy that is beyond anything this ego world has to offer. The only reason I have any doubt or resist this dedication at all is because some part of me believes that I can find happiness in the world of the ego. It is true that I will need to give up everything the world has to offer in order to receive the magnificent gifts God has given me. But what is also true that the ego does not want me to recognize is that everything the world has to offer has no value whatsoever. It is all empty illusions, nothing meaningless. So what I must give up to experience God's gift of perfect joy is absolutely nothing. I give up nothing to recognize I have everything. This world is the effect of believing it is possible to have more than everything, to somehow be special, different, unique. The only way to seem to have this specialness, to seem to have more than everything, is to make up illusions and call them real. But believing illusions are real does not make them real in truth. It is only a self-delusion, a deceit that I use to make believe that I have what I want. But beneath this deception is a deep longing to return to the love that seems to be so distant, yet in truth is what I am. When I choose to accept my part in God's plan for salvation, I simply choose to accept His gifts of love. Nothing more and nothing less, for there is nothing else. I am deeply grateful for this reminder and this practice to strengthen my dedication to accepting God's gift that is my part in God's plan for salvation. For when I accept God's love, I cannot but offer it to all that is, for that is love's nature. I am worthy of his love because I was created worthy of it. It is simply a fact to accept. Nothing need be done to make me worthy. I need merely accept what is. Today, I will practice accepting God's love and offering God's love. Today, I will accept my part in God's plan for salvation. I woke up this morning with some concerns for the coming day. This lesson was a welcome reminder that I am upset because I am looking for salvation in a place where it is not. I went over my worries one at a time and saw that their solutions did not bring me salvation. This helped me to settle into the lesson, realizing that I can find salvation if I look in the right place. I also found it comforting to realize I am not alone in what I am doing today. I loved reading that they will be with us because I surely feel that I need support today. I wrote my lesson on a sheet of paper today along with a few lines to help me focus on my 5-minute prayers. This way, even on the road, I can easily pull over and do my lesson at each hourly interval. At the bottom of the page, I quoted the course. Is it not worth 5 minutes of your time? These last several lessons have been reminding us of how important this work is, and I'm glad of that reminder. pathwaysoflight.org. All right, good job, everybody. Here's your cookie. I will accept my part in God's plan for cookies. Okay, so if you're not comfortable with the word salvation, it's okay. Most of us are not. So let's just sub out salvation for cookies. Cookies are salvation. Now the lesson makes sense to us. I will accept my part in God's plan for cookies. All right, on that note, good job. Keep going. I'm excited to have our 100-day party this weekend with you, making it to 100 lessons. Well, we got to finish out today thinking about this every hour for 5 minutes. Is it not worth your time? 5 minutes each hour to be able to accept the happiness that God has given you. I mean, you got to love the sass in lesson 98.